JF Stretford, Paddock, as you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford for the paper talk, and it's a bit drizzly, it's spitting, get them in, it's spitting. Most of the paper talk this morning focuses a little bit around Manchester United's game at the weekend, although Adam McCullough had all that in a Gazette, and he was talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, making a triumphant return to Old Trafford with his brace. A lot of the papers yesterday were looking at that, and Macca had all that stuff. So I'll just have a look at what's been said this morning. There's a little bit of focus on Donny van der Beek. The quotes are from the game after this Saturday, but some people looking at what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been saying about van der Beek and suggesting that maybe this means he could get a chance in tomorrow's game against Young Boys in the Champions League. Solskjaer said about van der Beek, "I'm really pleased for everyone who came on. Donny had his first taste of minutes with a crowd. What Man United feels like. He, Van der Beek, keeps working hard. He's such a professional and top lad, and he'll get minutes. Let's see what happens on Tuesday." So a suggestion there from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that perhaps Donny van der Beek could feature against Young Boys, which kind of makes sense. I know that there might be a thing, or you'd expect, there might be a sort of niggle in the back of Solskjaer's mind that he doesn't want to take it too easy against Young Boys. You saw what happened against Istanbul last season, where we rested a few players and we came unstuck. But if you were to say rest maybe someone like a Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandes and start Donny van der Beek and have quite a strong team around him, I don't think that's too much of a gamble. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. We'll of course have you covered. We'll have the watch along and the pre-match and all that stuff as well, and the fan cams, John Shin over in Switzerland. But just looking at that game, that could be an ideal opportunity for Donny van der Beek. And he may have more competition now, because Jesse Lingard, of course, came on as well and got a goal. That's 10 goals since February in the Premier League for him. And he got a brace against, for England in the recent friendly. So you look at that and you go, okay, not friendly, sorry, it's a World Cup qualifier, isn't it? What am I on about? So you look at that and you think, okay, Jesse Lingard isn't the same type of player as Donny van der Beek. He's a little bit different, but they do operate in a similar kind of position in Manchester United. They can both play as a 10. I know Jesse can sometimes play out wide, but you just think, is that another body in front of him in the first team? Or is that someone else he's got to vie with for a place to get off the bench even? We'll have to wait and see how that one pans out, but good to see Donny van der Beek getting some minutes, had some nice touches, did well. But you can't tell a lot from a sort of cameo against a pretty deflated Newcastle team. So we'll have to wait and see whether he does get a chance in the Champions League. So as you can see, we're back in the studio because I've had a little bit of an update. When we came back from Old Trafford, where we've just done the paper talk, there was a bit of breaking news or an update when it comes to the Paul Pogba situation. Now, David Ornstein, who's pretty reliable, Tier 1 journalist, writing from The Athletic, says that there is a bit of movement with Paul Pogba on his contract, and he could be open to the idea of staying at Old Trafford. And it says here, The Athletic has learned that Saturday had a significant bearing on Paul Pogba's thinking over his future. Pogba was magnificent against Newcastle. I thought he was absolutely superb, especially in that second half. His passing was just out of this world, and he just makes it look so effortless. It says the 28-year-old France international produced the latest in a string of fine displays. I think he's 7 assists so far this season in the Premier League, which is just ridiculous when you consider he's only played about, 4 games. Laying on 2 goals in United's 4-1 victory to take his tally of assists so far this season to 7 in 4, told you. Pogba is into the final 12 months of his contract, and there has still been no meaningful progress in negotiations over a new deal, raising the possibility of him leaving as a free agent next summer. It then goes on to say, however, recent events are believed to have had a profound effect on Pogba, and there is now a feeling that opting to stay with the 20-time English champions is becoming a realistic possibility. With the transfer window closed, talks are expected to resume in due course, and although Pogba can speak to foreign suitors from January, it is anticipated that his mind could be made up sooner. And it goes on to say, like, there's lots of ifs and buts in terms of how United get on this season, how the new signings fare, but he is a bit more open to talk. The fact that Ronaldo has arrived, the fact that also Rafael Varane has come and Jadon Sancho, it's been a pretty strong transfer window for Manchester United. Fans are back in the stadium. He's obviously feeling the love. I was at the ground for the game on Saturday, and as he left the pitch, Paul Pogba was banging on his chest to the fans. He looked really happy. We've seen him joining in with the celebrations, mimicking his teammates' celebrations. He was doing the old Jay Links thing and the Bruno thing as well, of putting his hands to his ears. So he seems happy. He's playing superbly, and the fans are loving him. Hopefully, that'll all lead to a new contract. If Paul Pogba signs a new deal, that'd be great stuff for Manchester United, because on his day he's one of the best players in the world, and we've seen this season he has been pretty much on his day most games. So fingers crossed he'll sign that new deal. Anyway, here's back to me at Old Trafford. Manchester United, another news there. I've been linked with RB Leipzig's Dani Olmo. This is a player who I think he can play almost anywhere. This lad, he's 23 years old. He can play, I think, in midfield. He can play out wide. He can even play off the striker. And there's been reports that United and Juventus and Barcelona. I think he started his career at Barcelona. He's a Spanish international. Didn't really work out. I think he was just in the youth team there. Went on to, I think it's Dynamo Zagreb, and then to RB Leipzig. And now ourselves, Juventus and Bayern Munich, and Barcelona, are apparently interested in him. He's valued at 60 million. Now, I don't know with this one. Maybe he's seen if Paul Pogba does leave as a successor or potential, backup to Bruno Fernandes perhaps, or someone that comes in and takes Paul Pogba's place, or the hole that's filled in the team that's vacated by Paul Pogba's absence. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I mean, he seems like a decent player. It does seem like a bit of a gamble. 60 million isn't loads, but as I mentioned earlier about Donny van de Beek, is Donny van de Beek not potentially seen as someone who can step up if Paul Pogba leaves? We'll have to wait and see with that one, whether Dani Olmo ends up coming to United, or whether there is any bidding war in January or in the summer. It is a little bit worrying as well when you see the amount of clubs that are in for him. Also, on the United transfer front, seems that there's reports again that the focus next summer is going to be on West Ham's Declan Rice. We've heard a few reports of this, a few stories, and there's more this morning. I think the Express have got it, that Manchester United are going to look at Declan Rice as their main target. It says here, Manchester United believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's squad can be completed by the signing of Declan Rice from West Ham, according to reports. And apparently Darren Fletcher and John Murtaugh, the director of football and the technical director, have sort of earmarked Declan Rice as a target. We know we're after a DM, or I think it's common sort of thought is that we do want to bring a defensive midfielder in. Declan Rice has been on United's radar for a little while. We were linked with him a couple of years ago. He's the 100 million price tag seems incredibly excessive for a player like Declan Rice. I think he's a good player, and I think he's got a great future ahead of him. He's still only young, he's in his early 20s, but 100 million with some of the suggestions that have been mooted is far too much. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. But as always, we'll keep you posted and see whether he does end up coming to Manchester United. Also this weekend, I'll just round this off with a few pictures doing the rounds of the boys at the Parkline Festival. We saw Paul Pogba, who was on stage with Burna Boy, is it? Yeah, I'm getting the nod there from producer Cal. Yeah, apparently he's a singer, is it? Yeah, sings songs and that, pop songs. I'm in my 40s, I don't know. And also Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford were letting their hair down there as well. So some pictures doing the rounds of them all at Parkline, enjoying themselves. People don't tend to mind that when we've won. When we battered Newcastle, people don't mind if you pictured enjoying yourself. If we'd have drawn or lost, it would have been a different story. As I mentioned earlier, we've got young boys in the Champions League tomorrow. It's a bit of an earlier kick-off. I think it's the 1:45 kick-off. But we'll have you covered for that. We'll have the watch-along. We'll have the preview later on today. We'll also have all the pre-match stuff and all that. So make sure you check that out. We'll have the fan cams as well. You'll have Premier League P-Take later on, as well as the Paddock podcast. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to check out the merchandise we've got available. We've got loads of merch. Got merch covering all your favourite players, Ronaldo, Bruno, Donny van de Beek, whoever that may be. So make sure you're checking that out. I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.